All right, folks, how y'all doing today? It is Sunday evening, and I know we are breaking all kinds of rules in group chat and everything like that. But you know what? This is the part of this is the Atlanta Bird Gang and Birds tonight. The Atlanta Hawks pulled off what many look to call a huge upset. The number 5 seed, not only think about this. The Hawks have won 5 road games, y'all. 5 road games on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Folks, I remember a couple of years ago when we were talking about this during the 60-win season, Paul Millsap, uh, Jeff Teague, and the guys, we were looking at that and saying to ourselves, like, wow, we'll never get to this moment again. I mean, I cannot believe the pressure. This team is still, in my opinion, about a year or so away. I think they are, but give them full credit, man. This Hawks team has come to play this year. Proud of the Hawks. Great win. Philly folded like I thought they would. You had an opportunity to win the game at home. 3 times you lost at home. You're the number 1 seed. And you lost the game 3 times on your home court. No excuses. Don't want to hear it. Go home. That's it. I bring this on tonight, and I don't want anyone to get any ideas to say that we don't celebrate our Atlanta Falcons in the same way. We celebrate all of our Atlanta teams, and most of you who are in my group, whether it be Atlanta in the Atlanta Bird Gang or whether it be in the Uncle Steve's Lounge, realize, dude, this is huge, huge for the city of Atlanta. And who knows, the momentum from this young team, not expecting to get there, new coach, the sky's the limit. When you start thinking about what this team, if you watch the celebration, the low-key celebration of the players out there, the players were not celebrating and jumping up and down like they won the NBA championship. They're like, okay, we're happy. Let's get to the next level. So I like that. I love the attitude. Love what happened. Listen, Trae Young did not have the greatest game in the world, but when it counted, he made the assist. He had the big shot in the third quarter. I'm sorry, in the fourth quarter at the end, the big three. But today is not about Trae Young, folks. Today is not about Trae Young. Today is about the man we affectionately call Red. Some of us call Opie. Some of us call Black Widow. But whatever he is, his big contribution, 27 points for my man Kevin Huerter. A lot of folks wanted to, every trade rumor I heard this year was talking about, let's get Kevin Huerter out of here. Let's trade him for somebody else. Now, aren't you glad they held off? Kevin Huerter, 10 of 18, 2 for 3 from three-point land, 27 points. And clearly the player of the game in this. Listen, Trae is going to get all the spotlight. We talk about it all the time as opposed to football, so we can make it related a little bit. We talk about Matt Ryan being the leader, but sometimes you need the ancillary pieces to come through. Kevin Huerter tonight, great job, came through. Jimmy Wayne says, Hawks are special now, bro. Hope Bogey is good to play. Yeah, I was a little concerned about Bogdanovic. Only 4 points. I know they say his knee might be ailing him a little bit, but maybe we can get a chance to rest him for a game or two. We got a big one against the Bucks. The Bucks are absolutely no slouch. So Vic King says, "Aye, for real. Now we can get the Falcons there. That's true. Listen, we got a lot of time to talk about, next year when you start referring to, what the Hawks are going to do on the inside. Listen, there are a lot of things we need to do. You definitely are going to have to fix your inside game. Capella was decent today. We're missing those free throws. We don't have we're not supposed to be missing. I'm not going to criticize tonight because tonight is celebration night. We came up with the big shots when he did. Herder. How about Gallinari? I remember when they first made that signing. But Bogdanovic, I knew that was going to be a solid signing, but I was like, ooh, Gallinari. Remember we were talking about getting him a couple of years ago, and I was saying to myself, I said, man, he's a little old. I'm not sure whether he's the guy we need to pick up for that. And lo and behold, we turn out, goodness gracious, he has turned out to be awesome. Sean says, Hawks. Trey says, where are those Nets fans that were saying the big three? Look, the Nets, see ya. All New York teams, see ya. It's all about, really, for those of you who remember back in the day, this is a Central Division showdown, as the Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks were both in the Central Division. And this was one of our rival teams back in the day when the Curry brothers' dad used to play back in there at the very beginning. Trey says the Braves won, Hawks won. That's a good Father's Day gift. Absolutely. Armand, this is the most excitement Atlanta fans has seen in a while. And that's one of the things I was talking about too. Listen, excitement in the Atlanta area, whether it be Hawks, whether it be Braves, whether it be Falcons, each team is going to feed off each other. Don't you know that now the Atlanta Falcons are looking at this saying to themselves, boy, if we could just capture just a little bit of that love that the Hawks are getting, man, this will be such a great thing. I think we all feed off of this. So as Atlanta Falcon fans, trust me, yes, we're going to have our time hopefully in the future, but we're going to also celebrate this Hawks team. Cam says Nate needs to be hired as coach first and foremost. I think he's locked down his contract after this series win. One of the knocks on Nate McMillan, if you look at his previous playoff record, is not very good. And I think they were waiting to see how far the Hawks were going to go. You go to the Eastern Conference Final in your initial season with the team, and I know he was there at the beginning with Lloyd and everything like that. But to be able to manufacture this comeback, this turnaround of this team, it has to be put on paper now. Nate McMillan cannot leave the Atlanta Hawks organization at this time, right now. And think about it, folks. We're going to get the matchup with our former coach over there, Mr. Budenholzer, and look, no disrespect to him because he took us to these same heights a few years ago. But that is just ironic that we're going to get to that point again. We took out one superstar in Joel Embiid. Listen, given credit where credit is due, I couldn't stand Embiid. I think he's he's very much a front runner. When you start talking, when things are going well, he's the greatest in the world. When things go sour, he's, Mr. Sourpuss or whatever. But I give him full credit for coming out there on a partially torn meniscus. As somebody who's had a torn meniscus, trust me, it ain't fun to play. It ain't fun to walk or anything on that. So giving him full credit for doing that. Cam says Denali playoff experience came in handy tonight in the half court. Think about it. Trey wasn't hitting his shots. Really didn't get John Collins off quite a bit tonight as well. But the one thing I'll give the Hawks credit for, the Hawks played defense when it was time to play defense. Was it annoying to see those Steph Curry open shots? Absolutely. But inside, nothing was coming free. Nothing. They made you fight for everything they had, and I love it. Awesome. Big John says this series might be the toughest test that the Hawks will face, including the finals. We'll see. Phoenix looks pretty hot right now. Brother Joe says, where's your brother Crickets in Norcross? Look, Ron, my brother is the most anti-Atlanta sports guy in the world. Trust me, anytime an Atlanta team does well, he does not. So, we're going to get that special shout out to my brother who roots against anybody. Brother Sean says, man, it's refreshing for Atlanta team to win. We need a championship. And at this point, we don't care if it's the Falcons, Braves, or Hawks. I just don't want to be the typical, we'll get them next time. And Sean, very poignant, because how many times, and I keep telling folks when we were talking about the Falcons back in 2016, we're young, we'll be back, we'll do it again. Think back to the Michael Vick teams back when Mike was running the show. Mike's a young quarterback. We'll get back to the NFC Championship and have another chance again. Once you get in these situations like the Hawks right now, you're one of the final 4 teams standing. Don't be satisfied with saying that. You try to win all these games. You go for it. We have an opportunity. Dude, the Bucks are not unbeatable, as we just saw against a Brooklyn team. And I think truly that is a really good matchup. I was more afraid of more of the shooters with Brooklyn than I am with Milwaukee. That's no disrespect to Drew Holiday, no disrespect to Chris Middleton, 2 guys that came up big in the series against Brooklyn. But I like our chances standing up against those guys. And without a big presence in the middle like Embiid, I think this plays into the Hawks type of game, how they want to do this. Lisa says so hype. Trey says that's a new number 11, Trey Iceman Young, Julio who. And that's the thing. I know everybody's been talking about the new 11 in Trey. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's the number 11 in town right now. We can't be more proud of. Listen, do we want more than 4 out of 21 shots? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, when the time was right, the 3-pointer hit when it needed to hit, the floaters came in handy when they needed to. And more importantly, he still gives out those assists when he needs. When his game isn't going on, he's going to make sure everybody else is getting involved. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad it turned out like it did. But, boy, I wish they would have fed Huerter a little bit more, because you could almost tell he was feeling it. That matchup against when he was going up, when they had George Hill on him, and more importantly, with Steph Curry. Steph Curry might be a little gnat, but Huerter had 3 or 4 inches up. Man, take that ball like he did a couple of times and just shoot over him. So, look, outstanding and glad it turned out like it is. I'm not going to sit here and knock the whole thing. Corey says Hawks got more heart than the Falcons ever will. Well, here's the thing, Corey. What I want is that, just like Sean was talking about earlier, let's feed off the energy from each other. Look, the majority of us are local fans. So that energy goes from the Falcons to the Hawks to the Braves, and it circulates. So let's try to take a little bit of this and, make it work towards the other franchise. Of course, the Falcons. I'm pretty sure if you go online, the Falcons are probably congratulating the Hawks on this win right now. And I know it would be vice versa in the other way. So I think you can feed off to this. Brother Deshaun, how you doing, my friend? Say Hawks are going to the finals. 76ers were not a good shooting series for the Hawks. The Bucks don't match up well against the Hawks lineup. I totally agree with you, brother. I believe this is a favorable matchup. The Embiid presence alone, and let's just take Embiid out of the equation, because Dwight Howard, well, we'll just leave it there. But Embiid, without Embiid, the Hawks may have let them win 1 game, but we win 4 out of 5 easy. But the fortitude of the Atlanta Hawks, think about what these guys have done, folks. They won 2 games in New York because they didn't need to win 3, because we won 2 of the 3 in Atlanta. They won the 2 games in New York. They go to Philadelphia, the number 1 seed in the conference. And basically, Philadelphia, aside of Danny Green, who is definitely a defensive presence, but not super major. It's like Danny Green and DeAndre Hunter kind of cancel each other out. So when you talk about injury, So we went up to Philadelphia and we beat this team 3 times on their own home court. So is Milwaukee, is that going to be an intimidating area to me? I don't think so. I think these guys, they won more road games, folks. This team is ready to play. So I look at the matchup with the Bucks, man, and I just say I think they're good. I think they're going to be okay. James says, fly Hawks, fly. JD say, I'm sorry, but remember that time last year, not so long ago. Well, maybe in August, some of you all stated that the Hawks made a bad decision to get Luka instead of Trey because he just made a game-winning shot in the bubble. Listen, here's the thing, though, JD. Look, I think the rest of the world was on that same trend. The Luka Trey thing, they're going to follow each other throughout their career. Am I going to sit here and try to say that Luka is not as good as Trae Young? That's going to be a hard one. I don't know the dynamics in Dallas as much, really kind of don't care. But all I do know is Luka is a talent. Just like Trae has been a talent the last couple of years. Maybe give more credit to Travis Schlenk for putting together a better team around Trae, a better combination around Trae. So instead of trying to make it the Trae against Luka, I'd make it the GM, and I'm not sure Don Nelson, I think he was just president of operations, but the management against management. Travis Schlenk put up a better team for Trae than Dallas did for Luka. You thought Porzingis was going to be all that. You brought in Hardaway from the Knicks and thought he was going to fill that spot. And it didn't quite work out for 2 straight years. Now, they've been in the playoffs, so you got to give them a little credit. But they're not able to get over that hump. Trust me, after the moves they made in Dallas with getting rid of Nelson and Carlisle retiring, they're going to do what they have to do for their superstar. Right now, I could care less about their superstar. I'm into us right now. I'm into us. JD said, I'm calling y'all out. Herder is what they call – Herder is what, 6'5"? He wasn't passing the ball. He was manhandling his matchup man-to-man. Absolutely, and he's supposed to. I think I would have liked for him to be even more aggressive in the fourth quarter. They weren't – again, we won. So it's hard to be super critical. In the 7-game series, a tough game, you take the win. So I'm not going to go much further than that. But I just say I would have fed them all day. I was sitting here to my 16-year-old Tyler telling him, eat, Opie, eat. And he didn't know who Opie was. So for those of you who are old enough, y'all will get the meaning. Nothing negative at all. Just play off the redhead. JD say, blah, blah, blah. I'm not making excuses, JD. It's the truth. At this point, to be honest with you, yeah, I don't even care. Luka's at home and Trae is getting ready to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Macario says, I hope this momentum carries to our other Bird Nation. That's the purpose. That's why I'm on here now. That's what we need to talk about, how this love from the local teams can be spread around. I think Falcon fans should support the Atlanta Hawks if you're here locally. I think it's good. I think it's good in the group right now, especially in the true off season. In the true off season right now of the Atlanta Falcons, where you're not going to have anything realistically in the next 30 to 40 days. I don't blame anybody for spreading the love of the Atlanta Hawks. Going, how many times in June have we had a chance to talk basketball in this city? How many times? I can count them on 3 fingers, which is probably 2. So we haven't had an opportunity. Even the great Dominique Wilkins and the teams that they had, they never passed that second round until we did a few years ago and pretty much embarrassed ourselves against Cleveland. That was our first foray into the championship game. I think it's going to be different this time. I think that the Bucks had their opportunity a couple of years ago. They're going to be hungry. But I just like the matchup of these two teams. I don't look at this as intimidating for the Hawks. And quite frankly, I'll be surprised if the Hawks don't pull this thing out. I like the matchups I see. Will we need to go a little big with Middleton being in there with Giannis? Possibly so. But I trust Nate McMillan in the moves he's made and thinking that he's going to be able to do what he needs to do. Dre says the Greek Freak is soft. Wasn't soft yesterday. So he wasn't soft yesterday against Brooklyn. Now, that being said, Brooklyn is not a defensive stalwart. You're going against Blake Griffin and a couple of folks like that. You're going to go against a little bit of better defense, but are you really ready to say Clint Capella is that guy? I don't know. I'd be wise about the soft part. John says, I still want to know how a professional player can get paid $177 million and can't shoot. Talking about Ben Simmons. I tell you, there's going to be a lot of self-evaluation about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons will come out of this series as he will be the enigma that Philly will look about on their team and say, wow, did we really just pay you all that money? And we have to put you on the bench in the last 2 to 3 minutes because you are the offensive liability. You can't shoot free throws. In a game where you have a nip and tuck game, my #1 overall pick, to John's credit, who you had to pay almost $200 million for, who is healthy, and you have to sit him on the bench. Folks, that's ridiculous. So you're absolutely right. I think that's something that you need to look at as a team to say, yeah, I'm not sure if he's worth that investment or not. The Atlanta Hawks pull out a big win today, folks. That's a big one. 103-96. Win the series 4-3. Going through the numbers real quick. John Collins, look, he didn't put up a lot from the point standpoint. 14 is nice. 16 rebounds. And if you saw how he attacked these rebounds, folks, John Collins, man. John Collins, he's making a case to keep him. I'm still not as great as he played. I know we still got a long way to go because I want to root for the brother going for the rest of the way. But boy, he's making his case. He's making that case for not only Atlanta, but another team. I know he's restricted, I think, free agent next year. So I think we have the opportunity to match what they throw up. But I'm going to tell you what, man. John Collins, he made his case this playoff series, 16 rebounds. Clint Capella ended up with only 6 rebounds today, 13 points, missed some costly free throws today. We got to work on that. Bogdanovic, 4 points, 2 out of 8. It's clear that he's hurt. Something's wrong with him. I don't know what's going on, but he's not that well. Trae Young, 21 points, 10 assists, but he went 5 from 23 in the game. 3 big shots in the fourth quarter when he needed to, so we appreciate that. Danilo Gallinari off the bench, 17 points, 6 to 13. He was another one. But they were switching over George Hill on him too. And at least Gallinari, he knew what he could do, and he used him up big time. Looking at 76ers, big point today, Joel Embiid again, giving him full credit now that the battle is done. Brother worked it out. They wouldn't be this close without him. 31 points, 11 for 21, 2 3-point plays. Tobias Harris had 24. Steph Curry had 16. Folks, that was all the scoring they had. Simmons had 5. Ridiculous. 2 for 4. 2 for 4 field goals, 8 rebounds, 13 assists, 5 points out of somebody having $200 million. Dwight Howard, garbage is normal. Thibault came out and gave us some good points, but no one else in double figures. That's why the 76ers are not in the Eastern Conference Finals right now, giving them a lot of credit. I I just wanted to congratulate. I didn't even want to stay on here real long, folks. Just wanted to give a shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Look, this is the Atlanta Bird Game, so we celebrate all the local birds. So while the Falcons are sleeping or hibernating right now, we got to give our Hawks a lot of love. Thanks for the great showing, and we'll show the support for you guys going into the Eastern Conference Finals. Until then, man, y'all have a good night again. Continue. Happy Father's Day for the next 40, 45 minutes. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Have a good night. Go Falcons. And tonight, go Hawks.